And then we'll go.
Yeah, sounds good, bro. I'll do a quick speed check here as well. There we go. That's what we like to see. How's life in Miami treating you?
Oh, it's great, man. I'm
Yeah, bro.
still lucky.
You
Huh?
look like you're having a sick time there, but like Ben and Co.
Yeah, bro. Like it's just good, man. I feel like I finally found like my squad. I mean, I've had a squad for a while, but like it's really good to recording.
Yeah, it's on, but we'll decide whenever. We'll see whenever is the most natural point to fucking roll into it.
I mean, because I'm about to say some shit, but I mean, I think it's super important for people to have like sort of outside friends where like you have your core group, right? And that's what a lot of people have, where they have like maybe 3 to 5 friends that they would call like their homies. But like, and I have that, but I love the idea of having like, you know, 20 to 50 people that are sort of like in your city that you can kind of like invite to places that are like less intimate, where it's like you're not going to have, maybe dinner with them one on one, but like
Mm,
it's like, okay, we're having a house party. Like, who can we invite? All right, we got our core people that are going to be there no matter what. And then we got like 20 people that like will bring their friends and stuff like that. And it just makes your circle feel so much bigger just by having like 20 kind of like peripheral friends where it's like they're not in your life 100%. You don't talk to them every day, but like homies, you know what I mean?
bro, you definitely have that. Like, I think with like you have your friends like you have for like different activities. Like, let's say this is like these are like your gym friends or like your jiu-jitsu friends or like you guys playing tennis. Like these are like your tennis friends or whatever. But like you don't necessarily do everything with them. But like the core group of the people that you do most activities with. Maybe not all, but you'll do like most activities with. Like definitely have that here. But like you want to meet like interesting people as well. Like you want to meet people who are like potentially involved in crime. You know, like
Yeah, yeah. Like they look like they could.
legit. Like, well, how was 2023, man? Like you had this mad year. We met each other in like 2021, and you've always been in the copywriting space, and you smashed it there. And obviously you work very hard at it, but you're quite a natural as well in terms of some of your emails that you did back in the D2C space were like Twitter famous. Like certain brands like Disco, what was that drink? Barcode. Yeah, like those were famous. But how was 2023 with like the new departure that you had with Copy MBA? That went crazy
Yeah.
throughout the year.
Well, first of all, I appreciate that, bro. And I mean, like for who's your is it mostly other business owners, or is this like a B2C? Like, are your listeners?
Mostly business owners, I'd say. Yeah.
I can kind of speak freely because like obviously like there's like the customer facing side that I talk about of Copy MBA, where it's like we're helping a ton of people, which we are, and then there's like the business side of Copy MBA, which is like just insane. Like just I can't believe how well it's done, and it ultimately comes down to a ton of really good content and being super engaging online, having a wicked offer, and I don't know. I think just like dude, 2023 was truly the year of the personal brand. Like obviously, I started TikTok and in 22 and in Twitter in 21, but 23 for some reason was just like the year that it kind of came all together, and I sort of hit definitely not mainstream status, but like one of the guys that like kind of gets looked up to because I've been around for a little while. Like, no matter how good your brand is, you're always going to have trouble competing with people who have been around for like 2+ years just because like they have the nostalgia factor built in. And so I feel like I finally kind of hit that in 23. Um, but I mean, like, bro, I can kind of go through the like month by month of how shit went. Like, 2023 was a weird year because I had just like a really low low and a super high high. Like it went like it truly went from like bop bop like quick,
Damn.
and like that was why it was so impactful for me. Do you want me to get into it? Like I
Yeah,
can. I
let's go through. I'd be interested to hear what the low was, and then like going into the high, because I think I know where the high is hit, but I'm not so certain. They could have been even more raucous than imagined.
well I mean the highs are pretty I guess well documented because like I don't mind talking about it. The lows not so much. I've kind of alluded to it I guess on podcasts and random stuff, but like so end of 22. And again, there's a lot of detail that I have to leave out legally. So if anybody's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Just know that I wish I could tell you, but I can't. End of 22, something happens. I start making a bunch of money, right? Lifestyle inflates. I get used to like sort of consistently making like $100,000+ a month. Everything's going great, right? Agency's cranking, info just in general is cranking. Like TikTok's cranking, audience, all like I'm getting recognized all over the place. Like shit's just great, bro. Up until like New Year, right? So New Year is sort of like, that was like the peak of everything, like where I was just feeling so good and everything was so like profitable. And so like
euphoric.
Yes, we come into January and we're kind of like just cruising. We're not growing like we were because like, bro, from like September to December, like Q4 was just like that, just with everything that was going on, right? And then January, we're just stagnating. And like, I'd also never really been through like a full cycle of info before. So I didn't know what it's supposed to feel like. Like, I didn't know that January is supposed to kind of be like a slowish month for business in general. Cause like agencies are so stable. Like, you know, this, like, it's not like the market doesn't really affect it. Like, it's not like, oh, there's a recession, like my agency's going to fail. It's like, no, it's services, it's B2B services. Like it's going to go up no matter what, or at least stay still. And so we started to stagnate a little bit, and then February started to go like this. And like, dude, honestly, what happened was like sort of like a crisis of identity, where I was just like, wait, I've been spending all this money and making all this money and feeling like I'm the fucking man. And like, all of that's just kind of gone now. Like, TikTok wasn't really working as much anymore. It was just like it was not as good. Like, it wasn't as easy, right? Like November, December, automatic. Like, it didn't matter what I did. Let me go on DND. Didn't matter what I did. Everything was going to work, right? And you know, February, March, it was getting a little grim, where I was like, oh shit, like I'm making much less money. I feel like I should do something to sort of fix this. Long story short, partnership went sour. I had to basically start from scratch, and I really didn't have that much money at all because my burn was so high, but I wasn't making very much. So I was actually spending more than I was making.
Damn.
And then I also had to pay, I had to, you know, buy Chase out of Copy MBA, which I paid a lot of money for. I can't,
It's not cheap, man.
much, but and so and then it was all mine. And so I was like, well, I'm starting not from zero, but it was pretty close. And so like we relaunched April 19th, and like in our first like full 30 days, I'm pretty sure we did, it was like over 300 for sure. And so like, and since then, like it's just been going like this. And so like, it took me from like, it was just a big jump, bro. Like a 4 to 5x take home jump in like a month or two, like changes your like psychology. And like, I was also thrusted into like a real leadership position because I had to build a team to like sustain all this shit. And so like, for the first time in my career, I was actually like full-time just managing people, and also trying to like market and build a fucking whole business like on top of that. So like, I was playing like the role of like CEO, CMO, COO at once. And so like, but bro, since April 19th, like it's just been, again, like euphoria. But the difference is now is that it's sustainable because it's like a real business. You know what I mean? Like, we have a wicked fucking product. We have really good people that are paying attention to what's going on and making sure that like shit doesn't break. And like, we're still like, we got more consistent traffic, and we're able to monetize less traffic better. Whereas like before with my other thing, it was like, unless I was getting 1 million views a video 3 times a week, we weren't going to grow. And so like now, like I can get, you know, 20 to 50K views a video 3 times a week, and we're still going to do fine. And like, so it's just much more efficient. I'm having way more fun doing it. It's very clear exactly what I need to do. I'm also like 9 months into it now. So like, I've kind of gotten used to it, and I know like what the process is supposed to look like. I'm working with some really good agencies. Like, that's a different thing. Like, I hired Moser, you know, Jeremy Moser.
I do know Jeremy, yeah. And of course, Ben.
He's a vet, bro. Like, he's been in the info space for long enough where he just knows how this shit goes. He's talked to enough guys who are doing multiple millions a month, where like he just knows how to guide me. So he's awesome. Ben's awesome. Like, my closes are awesome. Like, everything's just good, bro.
Do you think there, like within info, whenever I've seen really successful launches go, it's almost like someone has this personal brand and there's pent-up demand, basically, where someone is doing this core thing already, right? So like, you were doing copy, you're doing your agency, and there are other people we look at where you're a fellow Canadian, Brooke, who is doing like high ticket ecom for however long, and then he goes and launches the coaching program, and obviously it rips. There, it's kind of an interesting scenario because you didn't necessarily have it all be pent up demand, because obviously you had some info beforehand. But like, when you repivoted, did you just find like a huge kind of release of that kind of pent up demand initially? Like, is that what you think it kind of was?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think like I built an audience of buyers for years without selling anything really, right? Like with Twitter, with I mean TikTok, I was kind of selling, but like not as hard as I could have been. And I feel like I was still giving way more than I was selling, and so yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I also think, bro, like because it's not always like views to money like a ratio that everyone abides by. It really is about like the quality and intangibles of the personal brand. And I'm not here to like toot my own horn. I just think for some reason I've done something where, you know, people just resonate with what I say. I think it's because like I kind of look like them and I sound like I'm a little I look like a kid, bro. And like the way I talk about it, which it is true, like I kind of just like stumbled into copywriting and I stumbled into my like I kind of worked for it, but also like it really wasn't that hard. Like I don't know if you feel this way with your business, but like do you feel like because everyone pedestalizes 10K a month, everyone says like, yo, this is so hard, like most people will never get there, like normies, right? I'm not in like a derogatory way, but I'm just saying like regular people who are from our hometowns tend to sort of think that 10K a month is like this insane number, right? And then you get there and you realize that it wasn't really that hard, right?
I suppose it is in a sense. Like it simultaneously is and isn't. Like I think in the beginning, what you have is like your own beliefs actively work against you because you haven't seen this happen for yourself. And like so often, I think for anything to happen to you, you have to see someone who you can kind of relate to do it, if you get me. And like for me, at least, even like if I were to look at, let's say, info people over in the US, I wouldn't really relate to them as much as I would to someone local. And still, at least for me in Ireland, there aren't many people doing it, at least not that well. In the UK, there are plenty, but not really so in Ireland. But yeah, I think that's almost the first thing where it's almost like releasing the seal. It's almost like being in the pub and taking your first piss of the evening, and then you just can't stop pissing. You know, like that's nearly what it is. It's like breaking the seal in a sense. And you're like, okay, right, well, we probably go higher than this, probably significantly higher than this, actually. And so yeah, I think it's almost a slow journey to go there because like your beliefs really do shape your reality. I know some people don't like hearing that kind of talk, but they really shape your reality. It's like your beliefs are extremely impactful. So yeah, I'd say like simultaneously is and isn't hard to hit that amount of money. But then like it's almost like one of the slowest milestones because then like we're saying you break the seal and then you're like, okay, well, fuck, like what else can I do? And you kind of at that point you maybe have a bit of process because you're quite scrappy to get to that point. You don't necessarily have a process around everything that you're doing. You don't know how to consistently get clients. You don't know how to consistently deliver at a high level without being stressed out of your mind. But then when you kind of figure that piece out of like being more consistent almost with it, then I think you start to, and when you start to really get into process, then I think that massively changes the game for you. So that's pretty sick. But I mean, I definitely would notice because I've got experience in the coaching world from how I began an online business. Within a coaching program, like absolutely the hardest part is sustaining it. Like that's definitely the hardest part, even like sustaining a personal brand. So there's the pent up demand stage, and you hadn't really sold anything. You built up your audience over a long stretch of time. Going into sustaining it, like what had to change for you to kind of make it more of a long term business? You changed the source of, well, you changed up in multiple sources of traffic, but what else from the traffic sources to the team to like what you're doing to work on the product and how you're fulfilling? Like how does that change when you were bringing it from, I suppose, that one style of coaching business where it could be someone just with a personal brand and a Calendly link, and then there's the real coaching business that you've sort of been able to build? Like what kind of changes had to occur for you, I suppose, to make that more sustainable?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I mean, obviously, like just like growing your audience is like super important. Like if you think about it, like I think I only have like 60K on Instagram, and like I got a decent following on TikTok. I think I could probably hit 500 the next few months, which is decent. But I mean, like there's still such a big subset of the population that wants this information and hasn't even seen you yet. So like that's one thing you have to understand is like the point is really just to like kind of grow the pie. I think the difference is also like how good is your product? Let's use the Client Ascension boys as an example. And I know that you briefly worked with them too as a coach. So like you might know like more of the inner workings than I do. I've been in Client Ascension for like, I think like a year and a half now.
Never see you in there.
Well, I'm on the mastermind calls.
I see.
They're solid, right? Where they started kind of like on Twitter, like we'll help you grow your agency here, book a call. And then they spent a lot of time and energy and money on product where they have like however many coaches and however many accountability coaches and like success managers and stuff like that. They have like really solid course content. And they have like an entire library of content elsewhere, like on Twitter and on YouTube, where like they can bring in someone from like word of mouth, where it's like, yo, these Client Ascension guys are really good. It's like, oh, who's Client Ascension? Google it. YouTube shows up. You binge, 10 hours of YouTube from Daniel. And then next thing you know, like you follow him on Twitter and then you're seeing his stuff for a while, but it's still maybe too expensive. So you don't, but then you book a call 3 months in and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And then you close. Like having just sort of like an entire world out there that like people can participate in with you and to basically be in your funnel, like just a bigger funnel. And that doesn't mean like a sales page. It means like, how much do you have on YouTube? How much do you have on Twitter? Like, what do your channels look like? Like, and again, bro, it's just a belief thing. Like, that businesses can get that big. You know what I mean? Like, that like guys like Cole Gordon can do 3-4 million a month. Like, and Cole Gordon, like, I don't even think he really has a personal brand. Like,
not really, no.
Posting on Instagram and TikTok, I don't think so. I think he's like mostly just running with ads. Like, he's just got a really talented media buying team, which if all else fails, you can just do that. Like you can just hire a really good media buyer and just like restructure your offer and make it so that like you don't even have to really be involved in it. Like I don't even think most of Cole Gordon's students know who he is.
Yeah, fuck. I think I got into his stuff in like 2021. Definitely didn't have the money for it at the time, but that didn't really stop me. And like, no, it wasn't like he really wasn't leading it even at that point. Like far and away, he was really removed from it. But yeah, I suppose like a lot of the, I think, would you say a lot of the success has almost come from the renaissance of the Webby funnel and Ben Bader doing his absolute, just working his magic on that front. Man, Webbies were a thing in like 20s, like the auto Webby was a thing in like 2017, and then it just went out of fashion, or maybe I just didn't notice that it was still going on, and then now the Webby is just, it's like a Star Wars episode, man, just Return of the Webby,
Yeah, bro. Honestly, man, I think like Webby's definitely helped for us. Like that was just such an easy way for us to, again, grow the pie. That's what Sanjay says. You ever talk to Sanjay?
I never have, no, but I think I was meant, Ben's told me about him a few times. Yeah. I'll have to swing by Miami one of these days.
Sanjay's a sneaky genius, bro. Because like I mean, up until recently, because he's tweeting more seriously now, but most people know him as just like a goofy, funny guy, because that's what he is. Like he's a goofy guy. But he's also like, he really understands info businesses for some reason. Like, because he never even had an info business, but he just knows it better sometimes than I do. And that's one thing he always says, just like grow the pie. But like, that's what Webbies did for us, where it's like, if I go to my Hyros and I look at like lifetime leads, basically from like when we started, it was like 80,000 people that like over time, like at some point had opted in for a Webby. 80,000, like not all of them showed up. I think like maybe 20% of those people would actually show up, like across, probably like 40 or 50, but like that helps a lot. Cause it's just, and also like, I think that's something I'm uniquely good at, is like, I can entertain for an hour.
Definitely.
Especially if I have your attention. Like it might be a different challenge for me to like entertain on TikTok, because I have to hook you in. And so like, if you don't like my hook, then you're not going to like the rest of it. But like, I feel like if I have you and I'm in front of an audience, like I can make people feel something. Like I can teach well, I can make you laugh. I can,
definitely.
like, that's one thing that I think I have over other people. Cause like, my offer, honestly, to be fair, like wasn't that like Copy MBA by itself. Like, I don't know, the coaching really helps. Like you're way more likely to get results if you're in inner circle. But like for $6.99, just pushing that on a Webby, like we did pretty well. Like there were some weeks where like we went nuts. Like I can tell you after, but like Yeah.
What kind of conversion rate would you say you would see compared to other people, just from having the skill of being able to captivate people live like that? Would you say it's like a 50% increase compared to where most people are?
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, I have been present for a lot of Ben's clients' Webbies. There are some people that just rip because people love them, like Miles, for example. Everyone loves Miles.
Honestly,
I love
dude.
Miles. Like, who
I
doesn't
love
love
Miles.
who doesn't love Miles? He's the best. And so like whenever he does his thing, then it's like his conversion rate is crazy too. But like I've seen a lot of guys that just like they get 2,000 people live and they can't sell shit because no one cares. You know what I mean? No one cares about them. No one cares about the offer. It's just a shitty combination. But like, and honestly, bro, I would see a difference in conversion rate depending on like how I felt that day. Like if I like small tweaks where I could deliver the same way, but like you could just tell like I wasn't feeling it, I would make less money, which is why I had a ritual every single time. I would always do like the exact same thing every Thursday. Like, and I wouldn't fuck it up. I wouldn't fuck with my juju. I had to have a glass of Seven Daughters Moscato before that. Sometimes I was like, too drunk. There'd been a couple times where I was doing Webbies and I was like too fucked up. Like I couldn't even talk, but I still had to like get through the presentation. And
We're getting hammered on the Webby is fucking jokes. Yeah, I
yeah,
think that would almost make you better in a way. Do you know, if you're just flippant with what you're saying, and I think people would kind of dig that in a way. They're gonna be like, yeah, this is just good fun. This is like a pregame really here, and we're just on the Webby for like Copy MBA. It just sounds like good fun overall. I'm sure Ben's there getting wavy as well with you.
No, Ben has to stay sober. He's got to be locked in. But yeah, man. I mean, like it's kind of like spitting game at the club, right? Like if you're too drunk, like the girl's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" But like if you're like 1-2 drinks in and you're just like ever so slightly feeling yourself, like that's the best place to be. Honestly, I wish I could live like that all the time.
We call it, I call that being merry. And yeah, it's a state of talk about when you're just merry, you're not really drunk, you're just in good spirits. It's just that Goldilocks zone. But so Webby's helped, but from going from personal branding, well, now you're working with Moser, and from what I hear, Instagram is, if you get it right, is just insane. Like absolutely insane compared to other platforms, probably because the DM function on it is so sophisticated. I'd say that's a huge part of it. But like from the traffic side, did you diversify personal branding? Like was that like a big goal of yours to do so, to like make that traffic really sustainable and just sort of almost diversify it a bit, even if it costs a bit more?
I mean, yeah. And I do pay a lot to agencies for content. Like I have YouTube going too. And like my goal for this year was to really just kind of be everywhere. So like I do have TikTok and I have Instagram and I have YouTube. And one of my favorite things to do, honestly, bro, I don't really do it that often because it's super like energetically taxing. But like I like to go live on multiple platforms. Like I have like 3 phones. And
like a drug dealer out here.
Yeah. A course dealer. And I got like little tripods. And so I'll set them up on there. I'll go live on like Instagram, TikTok, and then go like stream on YouTube. And I'll just like have an audience of like 400 or 500 people who are just like watching me talk my shit. And like that to me is fun. And by the way, going live really helps. But like to go back to Instagram, like dude, Instagram is like a funnel in itself. Like you have everything you need. And it's so organic feeling. Like what you can do is like, okay. So obviously like you can do it straight organic, whereas like you just have reels pumping all the time. I have a buddy who's like a fitness guy, and he's just so funny that like every single time he posts, have you seen Daddy Wellness?
I don't think that rings a bell, but I don't think I have seen him.
He talks really fast. Like he's like, "What's up, motherfuckers? We got a Zenachino on the fucking lip." Like, and he's like, "That guy, you know that guy?"
I don't. Fuck no, I don't. I wish I did though.
Yeah, bro. Every video he posts gets like hundreds of thousands or millions of views. If he had something to sell, he'd be printing because he's got so much traffic. But like, and he grows really fast. But like, dude, when someone sees you, whether organically or with ads or whatever, and they go to your Instagram, they have everything they need to know about you on Instagram. And you curate it to show them exactly what you want. Your top 3 pinned posts, what are they? Maybe it's a really viral video talking about your story. Maybe you have like an offer in there. And then maybe you have like just like one of your best educational videos. And then you have stories that are constantly being refreshed every 24 hours. You have your bio, which tells you a little bit about you. You have highlights, so you can talk about like student results or whatever here. You can talk about shit you're doing here. You like do lifestyle stuff here so they can see how you live. And then if you're consistently getting like a couple thousand followers a week, which isn't that crazy, and you do the occasional DM call to action, and you have a setter in there with ManyChat, you can make 100, 200, 500K a month solely from Instagram if you have it dialed. And there are people that will do that. They know that their Instagram is so fucking dialed because the content on there is so good and their pin posts are good, their highlights are good, their stories are always good. And they will just run ads, just follower ads to get fucking Instagram followers. And so like the only goal is to get them to follow you. And you know that once they follow you, they will convert at some point. And you can sell whatever the fuck you want. You can sell a coaching thing. You can do like sort of like an autoresponder, like DM me to get this thing for free. And it's like a link to, you know, for some free thing. And then you become a lead and then they hit you with email, SMS, and then like they just convert you over time and you can promote Webbies on there. Like, bro, Instagram is a hack. I wish TikTok was that engaged, but it's not. TikTok is really sort of like, it's almost like TV. You know what I mean? Like people don't see you as like a real person. I've noticed that when like I make a TikTok, it's me. Like it's me making the video. It's me talking on there. People will in the comments refer to me in like third person. Like they'll ask each other, like, do you guys know what he does for a living? It's like, bro, I'm here. Comment, what do you do for a living? I'll tell you. or they'll say like, oh my God, he sounds like he's on crack, as if I'm not reading it. Like, like TikTok is a totally different thing. You can't do stories. You can't really engage with your audience. I can't just post a story and have like all of my followers see it. Otherwise,
does ManyChat even work on TikTok?
I don't think so. Because it's an integration with Meta. So I don't know if it does TikTok or YouTube or anything else like that, or even Twitter, but
gotcha. How did it grow then? Like you don't have like, you don't have to share numbers, but it's more so like in terms of like the team then got built out. So like at what stage, like almost what problems did you have to solve at each point? Because it's sort of like, okay, it goes from, let's say it goes from, you know, X revenue level to 3X revenue level. Mm-hmm. The business has now fundamentally changed to where now you need far more people involved and you need to bring more people into the business. Almost, when does that change within a coaching business to where it sort of becomes more built out like that? Like and when was that and how quick did you have to do all that? I know it's a massively loaded question, but more so like when did that transformation point come and how do you handle that? Because it's a very niche problem, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's still you know what I mean? Like with an agency, you'll probably see some similarities where it's like, it's just a balancing act of sales and product where it's like, so I hired my first closer. And so before that, I was closing my own deals. I think I went 31 for 32. There was this one guy named Max that I couldn't close. And he had like I'll think about it objection. And I'd never been through fucking closer cartel. So I didn't know what to do with that. And I'd just been bullying people where I just been like, I'd literally be like, bro, like this offer's gone. Like I got a call in 2 minutes. Like if you're gonna buy, here's the link. If not, like bye, like see you later. And so like that was working for me because like I was the offer owner and people just wanted to talk to me. And then I hired a closer because I was doing all the fulfillment and all of the fucking sales myself. And I was busy, bro. I was working all day long. And then I got a closer in. And so he started selling more. And so my only job was to just drive traffic and book calls. And then so we got more people in there that I couldn't handle myself. So I had to hire coaches. So I brought in my brother and I brought in like just people I knew. And then I had to like add more to the course content because like I just need to provide more value. And then I was like, okay, the product's so good. Let's just add more on the sales side. And so like, I mean, we got our product team built the fuck out. We got our sales team. We're working on it. You know what I mean? Like I have 2 closers and I have a setter in my DMs and I have a dialer who's new. So we're working on them. But I mean, like, I don't really think it's missing anything right now. Right now, the biggest challenge is like we're testing a lot of ads. And so like Ben is awesome at everything. But like
shout out Ben.
It might be shout out Ben, bro. But it might be worth like having a consultant come in and be like, all right, this is the type of stuff that we know is gonna work. And I'm in a mastermind right now with this guy who took Dan Locke from like 200K a month to like 5 million a month. So like remember Dan Locke?
Bro, Dan Locke was like such a meme like back in the day. I kind of missed that era, but I remember going back and like learning about him. I remember one of his like staged videos like back in Vancouver, I think it was that he was in. And yeah, like the man was just a walking meme. But yeah, he clearly did absolute numbers as well. But what was the one? He was the OG high ticket closer, wasn't he? That was his program.
It was that. Yeah, I remember he was doing copywriting for a while, but he also did high ticket sales.
Yeah, which I wonder what he scaled more. I'm pretty high ticket closer was the one I saw more of.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that was a great fucking offer back in the day.
He was years ahead of his time.
He really was. And honestly, the fact that he was on copywriting too is insane because like there was no one else talking about that. It was all like corporate people. Like Alex Catoni, she's good and she's got a great personal brand, but like she was more so preaching to like people who already had jobs and is like, hey, if you want to do copywriting, like here's how you do it. It was like very, very corporate, like millennial agency type shit. And Dan Locke was like catering to the hustlers, which is like kind of where you want to be. You know,
100%.
so I'll walk a line here, but
yeah. So then for the next while, obviously YouTube is now going to be a huge thing, and like YouTube, I think in a way is like the daddy of them all, where it has so many. Well, okay, it's the daddy of them all already for one key characteristic, which is that the content that you put up there is evergreen in a way that it's not on any other platform. A friend of mine over in Dubai who runs like a very successful YouTube channel in the fitness space. He is a guy who's part-time who just literally changes thumbnails on his old videos. Like that's literally what the guy does. And he says he has so many videos that he's put up in like 2017. Like he's been in the game a while. That he has this guy who goes back, redesigns thumbnails, changes the thumbnails, and then the video might just pop off. Like randomly years later. I remember Sam Ovens like just went fully Jesus. Do you remember his cardboard plaque ads that he ran in like Black Friday 2020 or 2021? And he was saying that consulting.com, he posted no new YouTube videos for like 3 years and the company stayed at the same level of profit. Like it shrank down, but like he shrank the team. Yeah, he was doing the same amount of profit he was years prior. So YouTube has that characteristic where you can put up a video there and like 2 years later it could get picked up. Like there could be someone in 2026 who's watching this video now, and just because it picked up traction at that time. So do you think YouTube will kind of be that, you know, once nailed, like you have Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter kind of down? Do you think that YouTube will definitely be sort of the long-term daddy of them all?
I do think that. It's also a lot more competitive. There's a lot of people making the same fucking YouTube video as Iman Gadzhi. Like, bro, 7 habits that made me a fucking billionaire. Like, everyone's trying to do that. Everyone's trying to do the same sort of thing.
I think I tweeted like a year ago. I was like, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself post top 1% man content.
Bro, yes, because like that's what everyone kind of like eventually goes to because they just know it works. I don't know, man. Honestly, I feel like I have a good like I have Cam and Presley with me too, helping out with YouTube, and like they're solid. Like they make shit look really good. They're great editors and everything. Like you have to be creative, bro. Like now I have to really stand out. Like back if I started 4 years ago, I probably could have done that like Iman style sort of like cookie cutter vid, and probably done really well with it and be at Iman levels now. I also don't like filming YouTube, bro. Like it's not natural. I don't enjoy it. Like it's.
I would have thought that would have come more naturally to you than nearly. Okay, well, obviously writing comes naturally, most naturally to you in a sense. But I would have thought that just riffing on a topic, almost kind of like Daniel Fazio style, more so.
Yeah, but I don't really make those kinds of videos. Like I go in with a script. Those are the only videos I script. I don't script TikToks ever, or like I never like make a plan for emails I'm gonna write or tweets or anything like that. Like it's always just off the dome. I can't do YouTube off the dome because I'd have to like have the idea and then call my fucking guys over and wait 3 hours for them to show up and then film a video. I guess I could set up a fucking studio in like a bedroom or something, but like I don't know. Then I have to like I don't know. That's why I hire the agency because I just don't want to do that. I don't want to like film my own shit. And like that's a luxury that like Luke has. Like I like that Luke can just like be woken up by a thought at 2 a.m. and turn on the camera and it's like make a video. But I can't do that. And so like when I'm doing it, the way I film it, like I have jump cuts in mind. I know where the jump cuts are going to be. So I have to like say a line and then pause and then think about what I'm going to say next and then say a line and then pause. With TikTok, I just rip it. You know what I mean? Like that I enjoy more. But honestly, bro, the thing I enjoy most right now is writing emails like to my list. I started doing that again, like pretty much every day. I don't think I've missed a day this year yet. Maybe I have a couple days, but dude, like right now, that's like the most fun I'm having because like I know these people are warm to me and they know who I am and what I'm about and they like me and I feel safe there. And I kind of feel like I can just say whatever the fuck I want. And I have been.
Does that rip for coaching?
I
Like
don't even
email?
sell.
Oh,
I don't even
really?
sell. Like we sell to the list of purchasers, but like I have a list of like 65,000 like engaged, and I get like a fucking 50% open. Like, bro, I got a nice list, and like I get replies too. Like, I just sent an email this morning, and I got like probably 50 replies, just like people saying like, "Oh, great email," or saying like, "Oh, like talk more about this," or whatever. Like, and I feel like it doesn't have the pressure of like I have to have a hook here because like people already as long as the subject line is good, I can say whatever I want in the thing. But like with TikTok, it's like the whole video has to be geared towards like making people want to keep watching. And I don't have as much freedom. But with email, I have way more freedom because I can say whatever I want and like I don't have to worry about algorithms or anything like that. And I know it's gonna get seen no matter what by like however many thousand, like 30,000 people.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's funny here because like I get the sense like you talked about actually in the very beginning of how a lot of things have kind of just happened for you in a sense. Like you didn't necessarily like massively plan everything out. It's kind of like, all right, the growth's there. I guess I'll go for the growth. You know, it seems that seems like it would be a prudent thing to do.
Mm.
But are you someone who massively plans out into the future? Like, let's say for the future of Copy MBA, like for the year 2024, do you have huge plans, or are you like the Joker telling Harvey Dent in the hospital bed that he's like, I'm not a schemer, bro. I kind of just whatever happens, happens.
I mean, I do have kind of like a vague vision of like what I want it to be. Like, so right now the way it works is like Inner Circle. It's a multi 4-figure investment. We have financing too. So if you're poor and you can't afford it, we can finance it at $300 a month. And you get in. We mostly focus on training you how to write because the clients will kind of come after you understand that. We do teach you how to get clients, but like the biggest thing is we teach you how to write well. And then what we also have is like we have lead gen for the students. So like if you go to hirecopymba.com right now, you'll see our website where like all you have to do is fill out a job form and we'll connect you with a copywriter for free. So it's basically like the like kind of like a Cole Gordon model where like you pay him 15 grand to like connect you with a closer or whatever. Like, we don't fucking charge you anything. It's zero. Like we just monetize on the student end, and then businesses get to have copywriters for free, which means we have essentially infinite lead flow for these students. Like, and it's just a huge value add. And so like, what I want is to like kind of start to remove myself from the product a little bit more and just have like at one point like 20 coaches who are all going one-on-one with these people and just like showing them how to do what we know how to do. And then like once they're good, we just send them leads, and then it's like more of like a recruiting thing almost. But like because there's so much demand on the B2B side, because we're not charging them anything, like I feel like it's a really sweet fucking deal. Like marketer hire. I don't know what they
Yeah.
charge. Like I don't think they charge the talent anything, but they charge the businesses to make the connection. So we flipped it. So like I don't know. I feel like that is something that has potential to scale because like people want clients and they don't really want to do the work to get it, but they'll still kind of know how to do it. And then like they can just join and then get a client if they're good, as long as they like actually do the work and train. So like I feel like we could get that to the point where it's like come one, come all, where it's like it doesn't have to be like a perfect fit. If you want to be a copywriter and you're willing to work and you can actually do it, then we will give you opportunities, just sort of like an automatic money printer for them.
That's amazing. I think I see a lot of like B2C companies be almost developing this B2B arm where it kind of just makes sense for them to do that. They almost, and it's generally a recruitment element to it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that is. I wonder, does it just make logic? I mean, in your case, you're probably like, this just makes logical sense for me to make the connection here because people know you and trust you. And they're like, okay, well, and then they can sort of just take skilled people out of there. It just makes sense.
Okay, so the reason why people are turning their B2C into a B2B is because the B2C info has inherently no enterprise value. You can't sell that. And so like for someone to be able to sell what is it closers.com, is that Cole Gordon?
I think it's like closers.io. I think that's him.
Something like that, whatever. Like for them to sell that, they can't sell Cole Gordon. They'd have to sell Cole Gordon with the thing. And then someone would pay 2x, and then Cole Gordon would make fucking like not a life-changing amount of money, and then he'd have a job for the next fucking 5 years until the term's done. And then that makes no sense. So they're saying like, all right, so if we just build a recruiting company on the back of this and we can sell that and then just have the info as cash flow, and then we're just basically acquiring customers for the recruiting thing or acquiring talent for like profitably, and then we can just grow the fuck out of that and then sell that for however many millions. That's not really my goal. I think I want to just like run a bit, because like, bro, this is not going to be the thing that I do forever. This is not my fucking magnum opus. It is like right now is all I think about. It's like my number one fucking focus on everything. It's my favorite business. I love doing it. We're getting results. We're making money. It's great. But like, I'm 24. Like if I was 34 and I needed an exit so I could buy a fucking house and like all that shit, like I would care more about like building some sort of enterprise value. I don't feel like I'm leaving that much money on the table by not doing that. My goal, honestly, is to do this and build a fucking wicked product and run it for like 3 to 5 years, cash out 10, 15, 20 mil, and then like just invest that into like something that's going to just multiply that over the next 10 years until 100. That's the goal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And it's a sick plan there. Yeah. Like as in, yeah, it doesn't have to be like too strict, you know, really in reality. I mean, how much of this as well would you say has been from you moving to Miami? Like just in terms of the people you've met, where like you have obviously been like you knew these people before you went there, but even like from me going to Dubai, you meet what I would call like GTA characters, like people who just give you side quests. Like they're just whatever you say, but there can be negatives and positives attached to this, but unique characters come across your lap if you're in a place like Dubai or Miami. I would say that could be good, that could be bad, it could be both. But moving from Canada, where you're originally from, would you say moving to Miami kind of put the growth on steroids a bit with who you've been able to meet, or did the environment change much for you, or yeah, what was that like?
Honestly, man, not really. Like I'm sure it's helped. I haven't really tracked how. Obviously, like some of the people that I work with here are in Miami. Like I have my content guys, like Press and Cam living in Miami. Ben lives in Miami. Sanjay lives in Miami. But like other than that, like I feel like I could leave now and the business would probably actually grow faster because I'd be less distracted. Like I'd probably be making more content and doing more fun shit. Like I could probably live anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Like, cause everything's remote, you know? The value that I get from Miami is more so like I get to enjoy the fruit of my labor and it keeps me more motivated. Like I've kind of told this story before and like you were there for this, like in my life when I was kind of going through this firsthand, is like when I was living in Canada, I kind of had nothing going on. Like I was making money, like summer 21, just from copywriting, I was doing between like 20 and 40K a month. And I was making good money for my age and for my, like for where I lived, like everything was great, bro. And but I didn't feel rich because I was still only spending like $4,000 a month. I had no real friends. I had a normal ass car. I wasn't really doing anything exciting. I didn't really go out. I didn't do anything, bro. Like my life was boring. And so like, it didn't really motivate me to do better. Like I was like, okay, like even if I double my income and I start making like 60 to 80 grand a month, like, what does that actually get me if I'm not going to be able to use it in any way? And so like the value that I get from Miami is like, I know for a fact that I can just like choose what I want to do on a Saturday night and have a great time. Like me and Ben, you know, Jimmy Farley,
Yeah.
homie. He just moved to Miami a couple months ago. And like me and Ben and him are like kind of like the trio now. And so like, we all kind of came here together, like single, but like now we're all kind of cuffed up. You know what I mean? Like I'm cuffed. Jimmy's kind of cuffed and Ben like wants to be cuffed. And so like we'll go on like little triple dates or whatever, and like we'll like take these girls, like we'll go to a cool restaurant, then we'll go get drinks somewhere, and then we'll go to a club or something like that. Like that to me is the most fun thing ever. Or like Griff was just down here, and so like I could take Griff out, we can go out to dinner, like we can have a good time, run into random people, like even just going to lunch. Like we go to this spot across the street, and like we'll just be sitting there and like fucking some promoter guy that we know will roll up with us and like he'll sit with us and just talk shit or whatever, be like, oh, what are you guys doing? And then fucking Sneeko gets in here and then we're like hanging out with Sneeko. And then American Income pulls up. Adam, you know Adam from American Income?
He's don't.
Like, guy, homie. He just has a big audience and he'll like do like, what do you do for a living on the street? And then like fucking, you know what I mean? Like the boys just roll up and then it's like the cafeteria at lunch, like in high school, and it's just like everyone's just like sitting there, like one dude's freestyling. We're roasting this guy over here because he wears a dumbass shirt. Like that's usually Miles. Like Miles, you're wearing your Seller Amp shirt again, bro. He's like, oh, boo. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fun. That's what I like about Miami is like there's really a sense of community and like kind of like we talked about before. Like I have those like 20 to 30 to 50 peripheral external friends that like are just kind of in my life, and it makes everything a lot more exciting, bro. And I have a girl down here. Like I would so much rather take my girl out in Miami than fucking Burlington, Ontario, Canada.
I get you. Yeah. I mean, did you consider moving anywhere else prior to Miami?
Oh man, the reason I'm down here is, I mean, obviously the sun's great and the city's beautiful, there's beaches and water, but like I came here because all my boys were here. Like we decided to move kind of to Miami together. Like it was like summer 22, it was like July or August. Ben was like in Florida at his parents' house, and him and Sanjay wanted to like look at apartments. They were going to originally move in together in like a house or something like that. I think they started talking about that in Greece when we went to Greece. And then, and Danny too. Danny was gonna, because Danny's already down here, but like Danny was here, Luke was here, Ben and Sanjay were coming. They were like gonna move, and so I was like, well, fuck, I might as well just like. And I started spending more time there, and I just fell in love with the city. I started to get to know it a little bit better, so I didn't feel as much of like an alien. And so yeah, I mean, it just like happened to work out that way. But if everyone I loved and knew was in Austin, Austin's kind of gay. I'd probably still. But like New York would be sick, you know what I mean? Like
New York would be sick.
All out in the cold together, like that would be cool. I wouldn't mind that. I love New York. I went there for like, it was like 4 days around Christmas time. So beautiful.
Oh, dude, New York is somewhere I definitely do. Like, obviously, I live in Dubai primarily, but London, I would definitely consider like, I guess like that's literally for a European versus like a North American. It's like literally London is New York, Dubai is Miami, basically. Yeah. It's that those are literally your options. Mm-hmm. Like I love the States, don't get me wrong, but definitely European at heart, kind of always will be. But yeah, fuck man, I need to get over and visit Miami because obviously all the boys are there. Like obviously I chat to Ben very often, don't really chat to the other lads too much, but myself and Ben are obviously quite close. So I definitely go over. I'll just arrive unannounced one day and be like, right, bro, like you're on the couch, like here I am.
Man, I got a Cali King. There's more than enough room where it's still like, it's not even gay if we sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, just keep our socks on, bro. It'll be fine. You know, like that's the main thing.
Socks, maybe like a ball cap. If you sleep with a ball cap on, that's straight as fuck.
Fucking hell, yeah. I might have to be done, man. Or just one of those like long john, like Christmas, like Willy Winky kind of hats like that. I think that'd be, yeah, bro. Exactly. Just those pajama hats. But sick, mate. Yeah. Any travel plans? Do you think like this year? Do you think you'll come over to Europe like at any point? Like for me, I would say like my ideal access, because I'm kind of deciphering this now. Obviously, I'm in Argentina right now, which is fucking random, but I do think I have my locations now like patterned, which is kind of what I wanted to do. So I'll have 4 months a year in Dubai, 4 months a year in Marbella in Spain. Obviously, I speak Spanish fluently as well, so that's fine. It comes in handy here as well. And then probably 4 months in London, and then while I'm in Marbella and London, like dotting back to Ireland for trips back. That's what I'm kind of thinking. But do you think you'll bounce around for any travel this year? Anything in your plans?
Yeah, I mean, dude, like all the spots you just mentioned are like outside of Dubai. To be honest, I don't know why. I just have like no real interest in going. It just seems so far away, and I get weird vibes from Dubai. I'm not gonna lie, it feels like so far away.
Dubai is interesting, right? Like my opinion has changed every time I've been there. So I've like done 3 stints there. And my opinion has changed each time to now where I just appreciate it for what it is. Like it's so unique, but if you run a business, it's like the environment there is just phenomenal to do so. I would say the downside is that, have you ever seen The Truman Show with Jim Carrey?
I know exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Like after probably about 10 weeks in a row in Dubai, like especially if I'm from somewhere where it's obviously very cold, lots of mountains and by the sea. So like you kind of desire where you're from, like the kind of landscape that you're used to. And there's none of that really in Dubai. Obviously it's the sea, but the sea doesn't even feel like the sea in Dubai because it doesn't refresh you. It's like getting into a bath. So it's not like getting into cold salt water, you know, where you feel completely revitalized after it. But it's an absolutely incredible place in terms of an environment to grow businesses, an environment to get your health in order and all that kind of thing, and just put your head down and work. And you can enjoy things. Every 15th car probably is a supercar, like no exaggeration. That's why I'm choosing number 15. That's like actually an accurate description. It's so clean and safe. Like you could eat your dinner off the footpath, not even joking. And you know, I've never locked my door once in any apartment I've been in Dubai. And don't lock any doors, whatever it is. It's so convenient. I remember I was cooking a meal in March in the house. I do meal prep now. I don't cook anymore, but I realized I didn't have salt, and I was making like a stir fry kind of thing. I just got an app out called Kareem, and I literally got some salt from a supermarket, and it was there before I was done cooking, like at my door, and I just started shaking it into the food, and it was all sorted. But there is that element of it where you're like, damn, this is strange. Like Dubai has a couple of native varieties of NPC that aren't present anywhere else in the world. Like I'll give you a flavor of one is what I would call the Russian bimbo mother NPC. And it's like this girl who's like, her lips are done like Deadliest Catch style, like a fish. Like her tits are done, her arse is done, all of that. And has like a tube bra on, wearing half nothing, like Fendi shoes and all this kind of thing. And I was there at a restaurant this is probably about April time. And this like Russian bimbo mother NPC was there with her two daughters. They're maybe 7 or 8 years old apiece. And the girls are like throwing food at each other, the two daughters, like literally hurling food at each other, while the mother is there scrolling through her phone, like fluoride stare, like not taking notice of it. And I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm looking through my peripheral vision. I'm like, is this actually happening in front of my eyes here? Is this really what's going on? Then a crow comes down, because I'm eating outside, off this sort of kind of shading umbrella, takes the bulk of the food off of one of her daughter's plates and flies off with it, and she doesn't look up once. And that was when I first thought of the Truman Show and started calling it True Buy at various points. True Buy, yeah. But it's weird even saying that. I actually really like the place. I can't, and I didn't expect to feel that way. I'm actually quite a big fan.
Interesting.
Would recommend a visit.
I would like to see it. I wouldn't mind it, but yeah, to me that's just so strange. Like that I've heard a lot, and I've also heard that like 90% of the women under 30 there are like prostitutes.
Yeah, I mean, like not as their full-time job, I wouldn't say, but yeah, like there would, like even normal enough girls could potentially be like doing side quests, if you get me. Do you know, like just like if the price is right, basically they would look at doing something, because do you know, you kind of you like to think you wouldn't do it if you were in that position, but if someone is waving and just a ridiculous amount of money in front of your face, and you're going to be like, some people, like, you know, it's the kind of the Bill Burr analogy where he was looking at Tiger Woods getting. Remember, people were saying, "Oh, Tiger Woods shouldn't have been cheating on his wife," and he was like, "Bro, like you did not have like a bus full of Swedish models waiting to fuck you after you got off the 18th hole. Like, you don't know what the temptation was like." Yeah. So similarly, you think, "God, I would never do that." But then if someone, let's say you're a normal person, you're working a normal job over there. You're like an air hostess or something like that, which is definitely an archetype, kind of what I'm thinking about over there, like an Emirates air hostess. Someone waves like 50 grand in front of your face for you to do nothing. You're like, right, that's the down payment on a house there for me to do something here.
You know what I mean? I do that in my current position.
But that's the kind of thing that happens. So it's like, it's not like women going over there were like that's solely what they do. Don't get me wrong. If you're in if you were in a fancy hotel, like like a couple of ones like near where my apartment is, like, yeah, if you go through the lobby, you'll see 70-year-old dudes with like 25-year-old women who are just gorgeous, like drop dead gorgeous. And then the guy mutters something and they'll start laughing like it's the funniest thing they've ever heard. You're like, right, obviously I think something seems a bit off here.
Interesting. I feel like that does exist in America too. Like definitely like LA, like West Coast. That's definitely a West Coast thing. I was thinking more so like women handing out like business cards. Like, here's my WhatsApp. Like, if you need something, let me know.
See, the thing is, if you got caught there, it's technically a highly punishable offense. So it's kind of like, I have a story I can tell you about off air of like a story I heard, but like it's kind of like it would be set up in a way where you always have plausible deniability, right? So it's like, you know, no, I was just an assistant to this person, you know, kind of thing. And the money was changing hands for other reasons, but then there's obviously, you know, the real reason as to why money is changing hands. But but yeah, well, bro, I'll end with the final question here, a bit of classic that I do like to ask is, I think you began online business like 3.5 years ago or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was almost 4 now. It was like, I like to say May 2020.
May 2020. Okay. let's say you have 20-year-old Mason there, May 2020, and you could give him 3 bits of advice to sort of expedite the process to maybe get to where he wanted to get to, or get to where you are now, or maybe that wasn't even the goal. That sort of just became apparent as you went on. But what would be 3 bits of advice you would give to younger Mason on the way up?
So in terms of like money advice, I don't think there's anything I can really tell myself. Like, I feel like, not that I did everything perfectly, but I'm glad I did everything in the order that I did. What I would say, because like I had a lot of anxiety, and bro, I feel this even now, like the anxiety of like what's next, where it's like you don't really know, because like, and this was like my dad in my ear, like a lot. He would tell me like, okay, this is great now, but like what happens if you like lose these clients, or like, are you still gonna be doing this in 3 years? Like, what happens if you like can't get more clients and shit like that? And I would always think that. I always think like, fuck, what if he's right? Like, what if I actually can't keep doing this business? Because I was so new, I didn't realize that businesses are just supposed to grow kind of forever as long as you keep putting work in, or at least stay where they're at, or grow really slow, like 10% a month or whatever the fuck. And so like I was always so worried about like, what if I do get to a point where I've just exhausted the market and it just goes back down and I can't figure out anything else? I would tell them like, bro, everything is going to be fine. You always feel like that at any point. Like, bro, I felt like that like 6 months ago. Like I started Copy MBA and I was so excited, but I was also at like, what if I can't, like, how am I going to beat this in 2024 or 2025? Like, how am I going to keep progressing? And you always just figure it out, bro. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I figured out, but I feel like that's kind of true for everyone. I'm sure you definitely have. Like, you just figure it out. And like, you grow as a person so much every year that you do business, because you're doing things that nobody else is doing. Like, you're managing people, you're like taking risk, you're putting yourself out there in ways that like most people don't experience, even into their 40s and 50s. And so you mature very quick, and that just gives you more mental bandwidth to make decisions and figure out exactly what it is you want to do. You know what I mean? Where it's like, what you got to get to like a couple million in the bank, and like, even though that's not enough to last you the rest of your life, that's like, once you have like 2 mil, it's hard to fuck it up, number one. And 2, you could also like roll that into something that like gives you $500,000 a year to live on for the rest of your life. And you're never going to be completely fucked. And like, you will get there just by making a series of like not retarded decisions. And like, I feel like that's kind of true for everybody. Like, for you to get to 2 mil in the bank post-tax, that's like the goal. I would just say like, don't worry so much. Like, business is like it's supposed to be a fun game. You know what I mean? Like, obviously sometimes like it gets real and you really got to lock in, but like for the most part, bro, like if you think about your day to day, it's mostly just you fucking around. You know what I mean? Like, I fuck around a lot. I get on calls with my sales guys and I like talk shit to them and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's whatever. Like, it's supposed to be fun. Like, you just try shit out. Oh, that didn't work. All right, let's try this thing. Oh, that worked. Let's do more of it. All right, that's done now. Let's try something else. Like, it's a game, bro. And like, if you treat it like that and you're lighthearted about it, I feel like you will be rewarded. I wrote an email about this actually this morning. I don't know if you saw this, but it was like
Sign up to the list, everyone.
Yeah. It was like non-business money principles. And like one of them was like, just give money away, even if it's uncomfortable. Actually believe that you can make money for real. Like, actually believe it, like have conviction, and then surround yourself with it constantly. Like, honestly, like as long as you just like, you stay in it, and like you really want it, like it will come back to you. Like, it's a weird sort of like non-economic thing to think about, but like it's more of a spiritual thing where it's like, as long as you believe that you'll get it and you feel like you do all the things to make sure that you deserve it, then you will.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick advice, mate. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on. Where would you direct people to, I suppose, to kind of find out a bit more about what you do, or look at your socials?
For this audience, I'm just go on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Cardinal Mason.
Cardinal Mason.
That's all my homies. Instagram is all customers. TikTok's customers. Twitter is like for the homies. That's why I don't sell on Twitter. I never
for the people. Like the bio, for the people. That's the one.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, bro. And yeah, we'll hopefully do this again sometime. Speak soon.